Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So what does XRP and HBAR have in common? And no, I'm not talking about the terrible price action right now. I'm actually talking about all of the connections behind these two, but more so, I want to actually address the market here for both of these altcoins because a lot of people are still so focused on the wrong things in this space. I get that we're selling off. I get that the market's bearish. I understand that we are seeing an immense amount of focus being put on price action right now. And it is very important, and we're not going to ignore it, obviously. But what I really want to focus on is the overall market. We know things are shifting. We know things are changing. And that change is from the meme cycle and the speculation cycle to the utility-based cycle. We know it's inevitable. We know that it's coming. And when we think about XRP and HBAR, these two projects have something in common, and it's the fact that they're two absolute powerhouses when it comes to utility. Now, I have always said that XRP and HBAR will be bigger than Ethereum. I still believe that today. And even right now, Ethereum still has over $257 billion in market cap tied to it. That's a very significant amount of money, especially when we think about the historical snapshots and we, go all the way back to the top of 2021. And I just want to show you guys this real quick because it's very important. When we think about Ethereum, then it had a market cap of $546 billion. Now you might say, well, Nick, that's not recent. Even if we go to some recent price action on Ethereum. So when did Ethereum top so far this cycle? I think that we hit about like $4,000 or so. So, mostly the price action here is like around the 15th of December. So if we actually go to the 15th of December, we could see that Ethereum still kind of had roughly around $500 billion in market cap or so. So again, we're still going off that amount. And if we think about that, right, HBAR and even XRP today, XRP has about $117.5 billion in market cap. HBAR has about roughly $8 billion in market cap. Now I bring this up because of this post over here. And this is from HBAR Foundation. Everyone is talking about HBAR and XRP. And this is the post that he is referring to from Stephen McClurg, who is the CEO of Canary Funds. Now, if that name doesn't sound familiar, it should, because remember, this is the same fund that filed for an XRP ETF back in October. And then they also filed for an HBAR ETF in November. And they even said that they are filing for an HBAR ETF because of the overall market opportunity for HBAR and that nobody's looking into HBAR, even though that they should because of the enterprise, powerhouse that it is becoming and the utility behind it. But here we actually have from the CEO of Canary saying, I went to ETH Denver. Mind you, this is one of the biggest Ethereum conferences out there. For the first time this year, I have been saying that Ethereum is outdated and lost its usefulness for 5 years. I wanted to explore that thesis by speaking with builders. Here is what I learned. Number 1, Ethereum. Developers are long gone. Projects are still built on Ethereum because they have to. Interoperability will make Ethereum more irrelevant. Longtime supporters have seen the signs in the last year and have moved on. Number 2 is Solana. Chain of preference for builders leaving Ethereum. However, community very disenfranchised on the massive VC pump and dump as a major portion the unlock occurring now. Most builders on Solana agree with my assessment that all-time highs has come and gone for the cycle and selling their bags on any strength. Number 3, enterprise. Everyone is talking about HBAR and XRP, boring non-crypto people in legacy tech businesses like IBM. They offer different angles but have reinvigorated builders. Now again, everyone is talking about HBAR and XRP among the enterprise side. Number 4, interoperability is what all the protocols are talking about. DOT was the favorite in 2020, but not a single person cares. 90% of the builders and protocols I talked to mention Axelar, a highly skilled team who everyone works with on the back end. Note it. Number 5, other protocols. Devs who are leaving Ethereum or Solana or who are starting fresh all mention one of 3 protocols that they are either migrating to or exploring. More on this later after I see actual movement. Now, again, the focus here is that these big chains like Ethereum and Solana that have completely dominated this space for, years now, they're starting to die out. They're starting to die out because the things that made them very significant, like NFTs or even meme coins, they are also dying out. And when we think about this, who's actually building here? And what network are they actually building on? Well, we know right now that a big influx of builders are coming to Hedera. We see this every single day. And we also know that the XRP ledger is having a lot more activity on it than ever before through a lot of the amendments. When we think about the evolution of this space, it's not going to be about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. It's going to be about the utility projects, the big players, the adults in the room, if you will. And yes, XRP and HBAR are 2 of those big projects. Now, on top of this, right, let's take a quick look at what these projects are actually focused on. Number 1, Hedera. Hedera is proud to have supported the development of the paper Ready Layer 1 Functional Regulation for Blockchain Infrastructure. And again, this is a framework that's outlining the treatment of decentralized Layer 1 and Layer 2 protocols as digital infrastructure resources, ensuring open access with targeted regulation. When we think about what these players like Hedera and even Ripple, because again, when we think about XRP, the main player behind the XRP ledger, in terms of like the ones that are actually really pushing it heavy to the enterprise side and even the institutional side is Ripple, of course. And when we think about these 2 companies like Hedera and Ripple, we know that these 2 are fully backing compliance. They want to back regulations, proper regulations that are going to not only reinforce the idea of innovation, but support it as well. And when we think about that, why would these companies be supporting regulation at a time where a lot of, projects in this space have hated on the idea of regulation? In fact, for many years leading up until about roughly like 2021, a lot of these projects and the teams behind them, they called regulation, a big step in the wrong direction for crypto. They didn't want governments touching crypto. They didn't want anyone regulating crypto. They didn't want nothing controlling crypto. And now today, you start to see these big players like the Ethereum maxis and the Bitcoin maxis celebrating regulation. It's funny how the space changes. Now, the reason why they are pushing for regulations and celebrating it from the Bitcoin and Ethereum maxi side is because guess what? They lost. They know that these companies like Hedera and Ripple have been behind the scenes working with these players, or at least trying to, for years. In fact, Brad Garlinghouse was at DC recently meeting with some very significant players like senators, for an example, congressional members as well. They even met with Donald Trump. So when we think about these companies that are now starting to really kind of pave a way into government sectors, like for an example, the presidential admin, they are now becoming clear winners that will dominate these markets. And when we think about what these governments will do, they're going to start to accept this technology, adopt it, utilize it, because every other nation around the world is doing so right now. So when we look at the US market, we know that Hedera and, even XRP are at the forefront of that path where we start to see the US looking into the best in class technology. And again, we know that it's not going to be Ethereum. We know that's not going to be Bitcoin. And we know that's not going to be Solana. But not even this, right? It's not just all of these, facts or these major connections that these 2 have. It's also the financial side. Number 1, recently, Coinbase derivatives filed for an HBAR futures. This is huge. Now, again, this is saying that HBAR just broke into the top 25. Right now, it's at number 18, and institutions are already lining up for the derivative exposure. This isn't retail, speculation. Big money is now positioning. Congrats, Hedera. This is just the beginning. And, again, it's a lot of the big players. Even if we go over here, we know that Bitstamp, which is going to be acquired by Robinhood, is looking to build a derivatives exchange on the XRP ledger this year. When we think about these players and when we think about these projects like HBAR and XRP, a lot of people are overlooking these significant connections. In fact, a lot of them don't even care about these announcements or, the news behind the scenes. All they look at is the price chart. But I want you guys to understand that this is so much bigger than just the short, term price action. This is a much bigger technological advancement than what a lot of you are actually understanding. I really try to stress this a lot on this channel when I say that everything of value will soon move on chain, because it will. And it's going to be from players like Hedera, like Ripple, utilizing the XRPL and even, the Hedera network. And for an example, if we go over here, recently Ripple put out a great post regarding how the future of finance is going to be on chain. And they even put a big spotlight on how the XRP ledger is built for the next generation of institutional finance. But it wasn't just this, right? We think about tokenization and we think about ARCHX. And recently, ARCHX, with the HBAR Foundation, they started to tokenize and invest into Fidelity's International United States Dollar Money Market Fund. And when we think about ARCHX, right, they're projecting the tokenization market to be worth well over $1 quadrillion. In fact, the total addressable market is about $1.7 quadrillion. That number sounds insane. In fact, it sounds made up. But that's actually how much money will be touched by tokenization. And then we also go over to this announcement with ARCHX and the XRP ledger. This was with the Aberdeen Money Market Fund, which is also tokenized on Hedera. This was from November 25th. And even over here, remember that ARCHX is really kind of connecting all of this space. You see some of the biggest players on this list. Algorand, for an example, really starts to shine here. Stellar, XDC. And yeah, you still have Ethereum on here. You still have Etherlink, Arbitrum as well, Polygon. But at the end of the day, we know that these are not the talked about networks. We know that the best in class technology is now being talked about. And that is Hedera. That's the XRP ledger. That's like the big players that can facilitate tokenization at scale and financial use cases at scale. Ethereum has failed this mission. In fact, the biggest spotlight from the NFT craze and the meme coin craze was how inefficient Ethereum is to transact on. And the same goes for Solana. Solana was going down left and right. These networks are not stable enough for a real world use case that is like in the scale of trillions of transactions. So that's why we look at the best in class technology. And also remember that back in March of last year, Hedera did announce that they joined the UK Crypto Asset Business Council with ARCHX, Coinbase, Ripple, Uniswap Labs, and other leading institutions to foster Web3 innovation and growth in the UK. Again, when we think about Hedera and Ripple, these are two names that are starting to come up in conversation in almost every single major announcement now around, these big organizations that are starting to push Web3, growth and innovation forward, especially in a lot of these areas like the UK that want to become crypto hubs. One thing is certain to me. HBAR and XRP will be much bigger than what they are today, or even what they were at when they were at their all-time highs. Right now, this space is still heavily reliant on what Bitcoin does. The second that we decouple away from Bitcoin and the whole Bitcoin-driven cycle around Bitcoin dominance and we never have to look at it again, that's when the real value of HBAR and XRP will hit this space. And I do think that it will surprise a lot of people in terms of what the actual value behind these networks really is. Because again, tech wins at the end of the day. It always has. And Hedera has some of the best technology that this space has to offer, and so does the XRP ledger ever since inception well over a decade ago. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.